Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 190. I'm your host, Justin Bruni, but I got my co-host, Imran Khan, with me this morning, ready and pumped for Week 7. How are we doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Got those parlays placed early this morning. Fingers crossed. How about you?
Doing good. Making money here over at the Hizzy. We got hockey and basketball now firing, so we're up to 5 shows a week. Picks are looking good. We're 9-4 the past couple of days. Ready to leverage some football. Ready to take it to the Hizzy. Let's go, baby. How's the weekend going? I saw you do some pumpkin patching yesterday.
Yeah, man. So trying to catch up on a lot of the fall activities. It's been busy. One of my best friends got married a couple of weeks ago, so the first half of October was busy. So went to a haunted house actually on Friday in Laurel, which is pretty cool. It was based in like an old movie theater, so it's pretty creepy. I love the design, so it was a good time. And then yesterday, pumpkin patch, all the fall stuff. So loving it.
Yeah, we went to the pumpkin patch yesterday. It wasn't the greatest adventure, we'll say. Just the skies opened up like right while
we left right before
the corn maze. So yeah, we're walking up to it. And like, all right, well, let's dig into the corn maze, and then there goes the sky, and we're like, no corn maze for us.
Which one did you guys go to?
Yeah, it was all right. Save some miles on the legs. That's for sure. But
which farm was it?
What's that?
Which farm was it?
I don't remember, man. I just wife put it in the the ways, and I went.
You just drove.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, put it in. All right, I'm going. Nice. I don't know. It was like up in Frederick, Thurmont.
Oh, gotcha. I think I know which one that is.
Yeah. So yeah, we get there. Have some decent pulled pork, some brisket, getting down on some decent food. That was nice. Glad I did that first, because after that, everyone was like running for cover and trying to stay out of the rain. And we didn't pick pumpkins. We got pumpkins out of the shop instead because we didn't go on the trail just yet. So getting after it. We got Halloween next week. I know we'll be missing you. You're going to be in Chicago for the Bears game. That's going to be awesome. Yep. Bear it down.
Absolutely.
We're going to be holding it down. Me and Steve will be here Halloween morning. I look like I'm dressed for Halloween now, but I don't know if I'll be dressed or not next week. I'll be definitely going out the night before, so we'll see what we get. Let's jump into our best bets, though. I have an anytime touchdown from Darrell Henderson and Aaron Jones today. Aaron Jones and the Packers going up against the Washington football team at home. Darrell Henderson and the Rams hosting the Lions at home. Both great matchups up against the run. Love the upside for both of those guys, and that option is paying plus money. And then I got Tyler Johnson, who's going to be filling in for Antonio Brown today, over 2.5 catches. Brown and his role has been utilized a lot by the Tampa Bay and Tom Brady in their offense. So I think 4 or 5 catches should be well in his wheelhouse today. Should be on the field quite a bit. What do you got, Imran? I know you got a big one here.
Yeah, I love the Tyler Johnson one. I like that too because Gronk is also out. That just opens up more targets for him. So I think that could be a sneaky play right there. I got a little a parlay for anytime touchdowns. Pays out plus 11.4. So on a $100 bet, you can get almost a little over $1,100 bucks. So I got Jamar Chase, Davonte Adams, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs anytime touchdowns. All they got to do is rush one in or catch one. And I'm really big on, I feel like Davonte Adams and Derrick Henry are the kings of anytime touchdowns, right? They can score all the time. I feel like Jamar Chase has been quiet. He's due. And that I feel like Jacobs, they're trying to run him more since Gruden's been out, it looks like. So I feel good about him. I mean, I say that every week, but, we'll see how we feel at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I was sniffing out the Jamar Chase anytime touchdown, and I just stayed away from it. Had a great number on it. I think it was like plus 150 or closer to even plus 200. But the Ravens haven't allowed a ton of receiving touchdowns, and ultimately that's what held me back from it. But I like it. We're on the same page. All right, let's run through our players who are ruled out in game time decisions. What are we looking at for guys who are not playing in Week 7, Imran?
A lot. Let's kick it off. So we got Latavius Murray and Sammy Watkins both out. That's going to be interesting to see how that affects that matchup. Curtis Samuel will not be in the Washington lineup against the Packers today. Quite a few injuries in this Giants and Panthers game. You got Terrace Marshall out for the Panthers. Giants, my goodness. Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley, and Kadarius Toney all out. Life's going to be tough for Daniel Jones. And like we mentioned earlier, the Bucs are out without Antonio Brown and Gronkowski. And T.Y. Hilton just came back last week. He's hurt again this week. He's out. And then Trey Lance is out for the Niners today. So you got Jimmy Garoppolo back under center after a couple weeks off. And then I think we got
the Colts are also missing Paris Campbell, who I believe is on season-ending IR.
That has been one of the most tragic things, man. He's got all the potential in the world. I feel like every year he has one game where you're like, oh my God, this guy can ball, and then,
Yeah. What was it? After the Ravens game, I picked him up, and I didn't spend a ton of fob on him. I spent it was like $17. I feel like that's a good amount for like $100 fob. Because I was buying into him for the end of the year. I was saying they have a good connection. They have some chemistry going here. That very next week, I have Paris Campbell on my bench, and he hits 1 for 51 and a touchdown. Obviously, he got hurt on that play, or maybe it was a play not that long after, whatever it was. But that sucks, man. It's really unfortunate. I was hoping for more out of that connection, and just from him in general. Like you said, it's just been kind of one of those tragic incidences in the NFL.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got our game time decisions and expected to play players. So Devontae Parker, Sterling Shepard, still game time decisions. They're going to be cutting it close to the wire. These game time decisions are expected to play. So Antonio Gibson, Evan Ingram, Darius Slayton, Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, Sony Michel, Allen Robinson, and OJ Howard. So it looks like OJ Howard is probably going to be playing in that game as well. Not as much upside for, let's say, like Cameron Brate.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into the morning flex, going over our first round of quarterback matchups here. If you're in the chat, please be sure to drop anything in. I got Twitter up here as well, so you will not go unnoticed. We will definitely get your questions answered. All right, first up, we've got Jalen Hurts at Las Vegas going against the Raiders, and then we got Ryan Tannehill versus Kansas City. I'm instantly leaning towards Tannehill, just a higher total. I know Tannehill doesn't have like the most impressive passing numbers this year, but I love the opportunity, and I think that Tennessee is going to be in the red zone quite a bit. So I just like the extra opportunity there. What do you think?
I agree with you. Hurts is always intriguing, right, because of his mobility. But I love the Tannehill matchup against the Titans. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, a lot of back and forth. And I feel like last week he kind of started to get back on track, right? Derrick Henry ran a lot in, so you couldn't really get the touchdowns for himself. But I think with Julio getting back healthy, hopefully A.J. Brown back, Henry running the ball like he is, I think Tannehill is in line for a big day.
Yeah, I think Tannehill is as well. And again, just like that matchup in general up against KC, it's really juicy. KC defense is bleeding yards, so a lot of opportunity there. Next up, we've got Daniel Jones versus Carolina versus Taylor Heineke at Green Bay. I like Heineke here. Both of these guys are coming off of two poor weeks of production, but I think Heineke can bounce back. I think there's some opportunity against Green Bay, and this may be a game where they're playing from behind early, maybe for most of the game. So if they're chasing points, I like that. Carolina defense is still pretty strong. They're really good to get up against the run. We've mentioned, they're going to be missing, some favorable targets in that matchup. I don't love Dan Jones this week. What do you think here?
I agree with you. I think the Panthers defense is okay, but Daniel Jones, like we just talked about, who's he going to throw to, man? Like you got Ingram and Slayton also at game time decisions. I know they might play, but they're hobbled. I got to go with Heineke. And I think he could be a sneaky play, too, for DFS because the Packers secondary is pretty banged up. You got Scary Terry there, no Jair Alexander to slow him down. So I think, I think that you can see a decent day out of Heineke.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Heineke there. Like I said, they're both coming off of two poor performances, but who I would bet on to bounce back would definitely be Heineke in that matchup with the Packers. All right, let's move on to some running backs here. Check in on the chat. We got G2 Clean TV saying, "What's up, fellas? Love the bowl cut, brother. Love the bowl cut. Bring it back, baby." All right, we got Jamal Williams versus Kenyon Drake versus Tyler Johnson. Jamal has the Rams, Kenyon Drake has the Eagles, and Tyler Johnson has the Bears. I actually like Tyler Johnson here. Just filling in for that Antonio Brown role. Tom's been looking to the slot pretty often. Number one passing offense in the league. I think I go TJ here.
I'm probably going to go with Jamal Williams. I think he's had a decent role in that offense all year long. He's a receiving back as well, and I think they're going to be trailing a lot in this game. I think it's going to get ugly. And so I think that helps them out too because they don't have a lot of receivers in Detroit. So I think he could be in line for a decent day. Kenyon Drake, I would put almost as a 1A, but I have no idea what Oakland's doing with their backfield. Some weeks Kenyon Drake is heavily involved like last week. Other weeks he gets 2 carries. So I'd probably put Tyler Johnson second because I think opportunities are there with Gronk and Brown, but again, with the Tampa offense, you just never know. It could be he could have 8 catches for 100 yards today, or it could be a big Evans and Godwin day. So I'd probably go Williams, Johnson, and then Drake.
Who do you think Jalen Johnson is going to cover? Big Mike?
I think it'd be Evans just because of the size. I think that would make the most sense because Evans, he's just so physical. And I think that makes the most sense. So Godwin, I guess. I mean, not that it's an easier matchup, but, it's for him. You don't have to deal with a guy that's 6'5", 6'4", right. 250, right? He's a big dude. So I think that's probably going to make the most sense.
Yeah, well, Jalen's been allowing one of the fewest completion percentage to quarterbacks to his side of the field. So I give him a lot of confidence. I would think that there would be more opportunity for Godwin and Johnson, like you mentioned. We already brought up Gronk being out. Howard, is a little bit banged up, but he'll probably suit up in this one. I don't think they'll just go one tight end with Brate.
One thing I wanted to add real quick about Jalen Johnson, what was lost in last week's game is he actually was doing a fantastic job on Davonte Adams, except until the end, which Davonte Adams and all elite receivers do. They'll get you eventually. Adams, I think, in the fourth quarter had 1 for 41, but before that it was like 3 for 40. So he kept him in check. Few targets, no yards. So, we'll see if he can do it again.
I think Kenyon Drake should also still be on our radars. Waller is banged up. They're saying that he's going to be cutting it close to a game time decision as well. So if you have your top target out, you have to think that that's going to give up more upside for the passing game in Drake, Renfro, maybe even Edwards and Ruggs as well. So I would go Johnson, Drake, and Williams there. Excuse me. Next up, we have Damien Harris versus the Jets, Mike Davis versus Miami, and then T. Higgins at Baltimore. This one's a little bit tougher for me. I feel like each of these guys have a pretty safe floor, but I feel like Damien Harris is going to be a big factor in that game up against the Jets. I feel like he's going to be like driving that offense. I don't know if I trust Mac Jones to move the chains up against the Jets. He keeps it clean, but there are those little mistakes, and he really doesn't go off for big numbers. So I guess I go Damien Harris here. Do you think he has the safest floor of these three?
I agree. I think he does. The Jets defense is not as bad as you think it would be, but it's not great. And I think them coming off that loss to Dallas, I think they really want to get this win again. So I think they're going to keep it pretty simple here. Pound Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, I think it's going to be a big running effort. Second, I'd probably go Mike Davis because Miami's looked pretty bad. But again, here I don't feel too good because Cordero Patterson's been sneaking in there and messing up everything. T. Higgins, I love T. Higgins, but the Baltimore secondary is tough too. So I think I'd go Damien Harris, Higgins, and then Davis last.
Yeah, so I'd go Harris, Davis, and then Higgins. I like the matchup for Higgins just because I feel like he's going to kind of get lost in that secondary. Boyd's going to get Marlon Humphrey probably. You're going to see maybe Jamar Chase get Anthony Everett, and I'm not really sure who T. Higgins is going to get. Maybe one of those safeties. I'm not sure if Deshaun Elliott's healthy. I know he's been kind of in and out of the lineup. Oh, was it Chuck Clark? Right, that's the other one.
Yep, he's the other side.
Yeah, he should be in there. So I don't know if T. Higgins gets one of those guys or if he winds up getting like Anthony Everett, but I think Damien Harris is still the safest option there. T. Higgins, if he gets a touchdown, he might have the best day of those guys, but I feel like Damien Harris is more in line for the opportunity to get multiple touchdowns. All right, next up, we're going receiver-heavy options here. We got Tyler Lockett versus New Orleans, Rondale Moore versus Houston, or Khalil Herbert at Tampa Bay. This one's kind of tough. I think I lean Rondale Moore. I like the upside of that offense going up against Houston. It's an 18-point spread. Like the books are expecting Arizona to put up bunches of points and bunches, whatever. Rondale Moore, he's got a really high ADOT average depth of target, so he's been used as a downfield receiver pretty often, pretty frequently. Khalil Herbert, do we have Dame Williams back?
He's
still
back.
Got COVID next to his damn name on his.
He's activated off of COVID, so he's going to be playing. I think I agree with you. I think Rondale Moore, secondary Texans is bad, and I think it's also a double revenge game this week. DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt play their former team, so I do expect them to cover that 18.5 and cover it in a big way. And I think Moore is going to burn that secondary. I love Tyler Lockett. I just don't like Geno Smith. And I think for him, he makes a lot of his plays on those deep balls. I think he might have his floor is probably not bad. He'll probably get a lot of those checkdowns, like 5-6 catches, but nothing crazy. I'd go Herbert second. And Tampa's defense is good. Their run defense is very good, but part of it's me is wondering. I was looking at the stats this week. Are they good, or people just don't run against them? We're almost at the halfway point in the season. Only one running back has had more than 11 carries against them this year. It was Sony Michel, and teams just stopped running the ball. So I think the Bears are going to have to try to run. And Herbert's also a weapon out of the backfield. He's had solid games the last 2 weeks. So I'd say Herbert second and Lockett third. Lockett is just because it's just Geno, basically. I don't trust Geno.
Yeah, I don't trust Geno. Unfortunately, I got to knock Khalil Herbert down to the 3 spot on this one. So I would go Rondale Moore, Tyler Lockett, Khalil Herbert. I think we're going to see Tampa load the box a lot. The Bears are 32nd in the league in passing, per yards per game. So I don't think there's a ton of upside for them to really hurt them in the air. I feel like they're going to load up the box a lot and really try to bring a lot of blitz packages, a lot of run heavy attacks. I mean, that's what the Bears do well. They're 7th in the league for yards on the ground per game. So I think they're going to try to take that away early and often. So give me Moore, then Lockett, then Herbert. All right, we got G2 Clean TV in the chat saying he needs to fill 1 RB spot and 2 flexes. I have both Washington RBs, so he's got Gibson and McKissick. Like that start. James Conner, Khalil Herbert, Pittman, Goddard, full PPR. So I like Gibson. I like McKissick. And we need an RB slot, so Conner. I like Pittman a lot, but I don't trust Carson Wentz this week. I don't trust the Colts on the road. Carson Wentz has been pretty good the last 3 weeks. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions across the last 3 games. At least 2 passing touchdowns in each one of those games. But I'm still going to go Washington RBs and James Conner.
I think I'm going to go. So you got 1 running back slot, so I'll go with Antonio Gibson. As long as he's playing, I'm going to start him.
I'm starting McKissick this week, so I have no problem starting him. His production has been pretty reliable in a game script where we're expecting the football team to be playing from behind. I think his value, holds up.
Yeah, actually, looking at this lineup, because I like Connor, but I mean he's going to be dependent on getting touchdowns. They're going to have to get him a touchdown or 2, and I don't feel good about that. So
really, the Houston rushing defense is just awful. It's top.
No, I know they're bad, but I
yards and touchdowns allowed.
I think Arizona's going to not get to the red zone, though. I think they're going to be scoring like from far out.
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm thinking. They might get one or 2 in the red zone, and even then Kyler might run it in. That's what I'm worried about. It's not that he can't do it. I just feel like the opportunities are going to be far in between. And so I'll probably go – I feel okay with both running backs as well. Gibson's a beast, and I think McKisson will get enough work in the passing game, especially with Curtis Samuel out today. And the flex, I'll go with Dallas Goedert.
Okay. It's a good matchup up against the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that. They do pretty well up against the receivers, so there should be a little bit more opportunity for Goddard. And I'm starting Goddard as well. Appreciate the question, sir. Keep them coming. We're here for it. Next up, we've got Sterling Shepard versus Carolina, Jacoby Myers versus the Jets, and Miles Sanders at the Raiders. This one's a little bit tougher. If Sterling Shepard is suiting up, I think I go Sterling Shepard. He should be on an island as far as targets are concerned. No one really else there to eat into his workload. What do you think?
I agree with you. Looking at this lineup, I love Miles Sanders, but I don't know what Philly's doing. I just don't know what they're doing with him. Yeah, and Shepard, I think he's the last man standing, right? I literally don't know. If Slayton doesn't play, I don't know who's playing at wide receiver for them. I genuinely don't. That's 3 receivers down. Agnew might not play. So I go Shepard, Sanders second. I don't feel good about it just because I don't know what Philly's doing, and then Myers third.
Yeah, it's really tough with Myers' matchup. The Jets aren't allowing a ton of yards or receptions to the wide receiver position, but they're constantly getting scored on. You know what I mean? Like it's really a mixture of a game plan when you're attacking them. Like teams are using running back, tight end, wide receiver. It's very mixed up. So I don't know. I would put him probably second as well, and then Miles Sanders third. But it's really close between him and Sanders. Like I said, if Sterling Shepard's good to go, I'm firing him up for sure. All right, we got the tight ends here. We got Mo Alley Cox at San Francisco versus Robert Tonyan with Washington. I'm still going Mo Alley Cox.
I'm going to go Bob Tonyan.
Tonyan just hasn't done anything. I mean, if there's a week to do
touchdown.
I hear you. Washington, I believe, is number 1 for passing touchdowns allowed. It might be the receiver position.
So much for that vaunted defense, huh?
Yeah, right. What happened? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a strong front 7 still, but the secondary is just bleeding. I mean, and realistically, the run defense isn't great, but I mean, the talent is there. I feel like. I don't know. They're just not getting the best out of them. All right, and then really deep here, we got Gerald Everett versus the Saints or Jonnu Smith versus the Jets.
Sadly, not deep for me because I have Jonnu Smith in a couple of deep leagues because I couldn't get Kelsey or one of the elite tight ends early. I think Jonnu Smith, I think he's good for a touchdown. Unfortunately, that's really all his role is right now. If you look at the way this offense has been the last couple of weeks, they are using Hunter Henry a lot more. He's still a talented player. I think he might be able to get a touchdown in this game. And in another league, I have Waller possibly out, so I had to pick up Everett. I'm just hoping with Geno, he dinks and dunks it a little bit. Between the two, I'll go with Jonnu.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Everett. Jonnu just hasn't shown me anything since like week 1.
Yeah.
They're just not using him enough. Like you mentioned, Henry has been the preferred option for the Patriots. He's the one that's eating into the snap count, that's on the field the most, and who is running the most routes. So keeping it simple there. All right, cool. Let's jump into our Week 7 game previews. Let's go. If you haven't already, please be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. All right, first up here, we got the Bengals coming into Baltimore. Road dogs, plus 6.5 on the spread, plus 228 on the money line. Over-under for this game is at 46 points. Right now, the public is 45% on Cincinnati to cover the spread. Baltimore, 55%. The public is at 77% for this game to go to the over, 23% to the under. Where do you stand with this one, Emron?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens to win, but I think the Bengals are gonna come out firing. The Bengals are 4-2, right? They're having a good start to the season, a little bit of a surprise team, and the Ravens have been rolling. So I think they keep this game close, and I think that the over cashes here. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be a nice little show between two of the younger quarterbacks in the league. So I'll take the Ravens to win, but I think the Bengals are going to keep it close and score some points.
Yep, I agree with you, but I am going to the under. So the Bengals are 1-5 to the under. They've been setting the pace in a lot of their games. Their defense has been doing really well. Like we talk a lot about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and how great their offense looks. Like, hey, look, you got Jamar Chase, and the offensive line still looks like, not half bad. That's really been the narrative for this team. But not enough people are talking about their defense. 13th up against the pass, 8th up against the run. In comparison to Baltimore, 25th up against the pass and 3rd up against the run. So I actually like the under here. The Bengals are 1-5 to the over this season, and Baltimore is 3-3. So I don't see a lot in their track record so far this season that gives the over a ton of upside. But I do like the number. Like 46 is not that tall a number. I just feel like we're going to wind up getting a little bit more defense in this game than we're expecting. We also have Latavius Murray out, Sammy Watkins. We're not really sure what role that's going to play to the total. If there's a week to throw Rashad Bateman in a DFS lineup, I think this is it. I like the Bengals to cover. I like them to cover the plus 6.5. I also agree with you that Baltimore will win, but we differ on the total. I'm going to take the under. I think there's just a little bit more upside between these defenses that will push the number down. Might see, turnover or two from each side as well that could kill it. So that's where I'm at. But it seems like we're pretty clean on the numbers though, as far as money line and the cover. All right, we got Breck PF in the chat asking pick 3 PPR Woods. I'm assuming Rondell Moore, hopefully not Elijah. Calvin Ridley, Waddle, or Hollywood. Good problems to have, my man. So we got to go Robert Woods. We got double revenge game there as well. We'll be getting to that preview soon. We got to go Woods. We were just talking about Rondell Moore, but I don't think you could start him over, Calvin Ridley or Jalen Waddle. I think those are my 3: Woods, Ridley, and Waddle.
I'm going to agree with you. It's a really good problem to have. Oh, it's DJ Moore. It's DJ Moore.
Oh, that's tough. That makes things tough.
Even better problem to have. Damn, I thought it was Rondell.
Yeah, man. I guess I just go with the front 3 then. I mean, I love Waddle, but I don't love the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think the Giants are banged up. DJ makes a lot of sense. Ridley's a beast, and Woods is going against the Lions. So I think you got to go with the studs.
Yeah, I'm starting Sam Darnold this week with Josh Allen on a bye, so I'm pretty confident for those Panthers, who we're actually getting to next. We're going to jump into that game preview here. Appreciate the question in the chat there, Breck. Keep them coming. We're here for it. All right, so next up, we have the Carolina Panthers coming into New York. -3 favorites on the road, -155 in the money line. Total in this game is 42.5 points, and the Giants are laying +135 at home. The public is 87% on Carolina to cover the spread. The public is 56% on the total to go to the over. Where do you stand with this one, sir?
I'm going to go with the under and the Giants to cover. I have no reason why the Giants are going to cover, but I just think the Panthers are just a really weird team. I think they play down and up to their competition. The Panthers are going to win. Giants are going to keep it close for some odd reason. I think it's just going to be a really ugly game.
For me to buy into that narrative or the game script or whatever, Sam Darnold's just got to have a terrible game. And I could see that. I mean, by all means, I'm starting him this week, so I'm sure he's up for it, right? He's coming off two poor performances. I think this is a very, very much a get-right spot. So the New York Giants defense, 22nd up against the pass, 29th up against the run. So when they get into trouble, I feel like Chuba Hubbard is still going to be able to carry the load a little bit here. Still no CMC, but I like their weapons a lot more. The Giants are just completely depleted here. Give me the Panthers to cover. I like the Panthers to win. I think that's the better bet here, is just to take the Panthers on the money line, the minus 155. And, man, I don't trust the total, but I think that we can go over just because I feel like the Panthers can still put up, 24, 27 plus. And the Giants, I still feel like they can score, 10 to 14 at least.
Possibly, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, somewhere in there. We got Stuart Bell in the chat asking pick 2, Chase Edmonds, Julio Jones, Eli Mitchell, and James Conner. This is going to sound weird. But I'm going Edmonds and Conner. I love the matchup up against Houston. I talked about this on Thursday night. Those two were my love players of the week. Just pick one and throw them in there. Houston, top 5 for rushing yards allowed, top 5 for rushing touchdowns allowed. There's going to be a lot of opportunity in this game. And like you mentioned, they're going to get up. Like, they're going to be up by a lot at some point. So they're going to be in park the bus mode, and they're going to not want to get their guys hurt, give these running backs a couple more touches. I'm going those two over Julio and Eli Mitchell. I know it sounds nuts, but I just love that matchup up against Houston.
I'm going to go with Edmonds and Julio. I think Edmonds is going to be involved in the receiving game, so I think we'll get a lot of passes while they run it up on Houston. I think, again, that Chiefs and Titans game, I think it's going to be high scoring, and I think Julio's starting to come back into form, so I think he could be in line for a big game.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Those are also really good options. Those are good problems to have. All right, so I got Carolina winning. I got them covering. I'm going to take the over. Are you good with all those?
I am.
We're in agreement?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we got the football team traveling to Green Bay, going to the Packers, coming in as road dogs, +9 on the spread, +315 on the money line. Over under in this game is at 47.5. Green Bay is laying -385 at home. The public coming in heavy on Green Bay to cover, 80% to cover the 9 points. 69% of the public is coming in on this game to go to the over. Where are you at with this one?
I think I'm going to go with this one for the football team to cover, actually. I think 8.5 is quite a bit. I think they'll get a late cover on this one. They'll probably be losing by like the 14 or 16, something like that. They'll get a late score to cover the number. Okay. But I think in terms of the total, I'm going to go with the over as well. New York defense is that good. So I think we can easily get to 48 points.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I differ on the spread. I'm taking Green Bay to cover. They are 5-1 ATS this season, one of the best teams against the spread. I'm going to take them to cover the 9 up against Washington at home, and I like the over as well. Washington 4-2 to the over, so they're still putting up points despite the bad defense, despite the losses, the blemished record. We definitely had higher expectations for them this year, but they're still scoring a lot of points. And for fantasy and for just watching games in general, that's awesome. That's entertaining. So I'm going to go with the over here. Green Bay to cover and Green Bay to win. What do you think about Davonte Adams over under 7.5 catches in this one?
7.5?
7.5.
Over. I think he can get 8.
I think he can get 8, but my issue is, and I just want to throw this out because there's really not much else to talk about this game. Like, I feel like the Packers are heavily favorited here. They've looked great since that week 1 blemish in Jacksonville on a home game for the Saints on the road. Weird stuff, right? Yeah. I feel like this is going to be an Allen Lazard and Tanyan game, or at least the opportunity is there. I also have Aaron Jones on the rushing prop. I don't know. Something about this game just seems like the 9 isn't enough. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this could be closer almost to like the Rams and the Lions almost. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron is on a war path. Like he it's almost like he wants to just, snub the organization, show how great they're going to be this year. Like, I feel like they're in line for another, like a 14-3 season. Like the last 3 seasons, they've been 13-3. Other than their defense, they really don't have any holes right now,
Yeah.
We got your brother in the chat saying he's got Davonte Adams at 97+ yard prop. What's the odds on that, Cam? You getting plus money? Let us know.
Probably, yeah. But no, I agree
so.
with
My goodness, for 97
yeah,
yards.
97 is quite a bit. But I mean, Davonte Adams, just kind of like Derrick Henry. I mean, it's you wouldn't be surprised by that. You wouldn't be surprised by him getting 100 yards.
Not
You
at all,
almost
not at all.
expect it.
But yeah. I would hope that they would try to be getting some of these other guys going. You know what I mean? Get some more touches for Randall Cobb, Allen Lazard, etc. So.
But sometimes they just don't care, man. When you watch these Packers games, they're like, unless you're putting 2 or 3 people on Adams, I'm just going to keep throwing it to him.
Yeah. What was your reaction to I own you? I
was fucking pissed. I'm still fucking pissed. Fuck the Packers, man. Like, I mean, I totally get it. I mean, when you ask me, does he own? Of course he does. He's 22-5, but I mean, right. it's a rivalry, right? He's a dick for saying it, and then I think I mean, I get why he's saying it. You know, if Fields said something like that, I'd be like, yeah, go Fields. But I loved when I loved when Olin Kreutz called him out, like, because Rodgers, instead of just saying, yeah, I said it, screw you guys, like, well, I blacked that. No, you didn't, dude. You know what you were doing. Just own it. And like, I was listening to Jay Cutler on ESPN 1000. He's like, yeah, I think that blackout comment was total BS. He knew what he was doing. But
he didn't black out. I think that was more of just like give yourself the excuse for it. But in fairness, someone gives you the double bird while you score a touchdown.
Oh yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I mean, and it's like, it wasn't just one person. They had a picture where it was like 15 people flicking him off. Yeah. I would have been one of them if I was there.
Yeah, dude, I was all about it. Honestly, when he did it, I really didn't care. I thought it was awesome. Like, this is what our rivalry is all about. Yeah. And you just don't have that anymore. Like, even in our own division, like the Bears and the Lions, not that big of rivalry anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Bears and the Vikings, no one really gets in for that. Bears and Packers is a real deal. Like, tell me somewhere else around the league where we actually have that. Like, maybe the Giants and the Jets, or the Giants and the Patriots, just because like that Tri-City area, it's so knit. You know what I mean? Or maybe like the Giants and the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, like Dallas and Washington, I think it's still there. There's still a little bit of fight there. You do have some like new age ones that are popping up, like Brady versus Mahomes, Rodgers versus Brady, Brady versus the Rams, right? Like there's the long tenured one, it's that one, but even with the Bears one, it's really tricky because it's for a rivalry, right? It's got to be close to a 50-50 split, and it's just not right now.
I don't know. I think that Manning Brady was a bigger split or rivalry when that was going on, right? But I look at that the same kind of like with him and Mahomes, or even with him and like Josh Allen. Like, I don't know. It's just a player-to-player type of situation. It's not organization, like, cities just hating each other. Like, I remember growing up with like the Packers fans that lived in Illinois, and then you had the Illinois people from like Wisconsin and stuff like that. And man, just people go to war with each other. You know what I mean? I don't know. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great actually to stir up the rivalry even more. I'm looking even more forward to the next matchup.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't start both Washington RBs, right? I agree with that. Emron disagrees. I really like McKissick. I'm starting him this week. The shin splint issue for Antonio Gibson hasn't really seemed to play a big factor yet, other than the fact that it's giving McKissick opportunities to get touches. They also have had some injuries. Curtis Samuel out. Ricky Seals-Jones is actually playing today. I thought Thursday that he was not going to play. It looks like he's going to suit up. He had missed practice, but had gotten back to practice. But I like the upside for both of those guys. You really have to love the other matchups that you have to, pick one over them, because I don't think McKissick is a bench option. And as long as Gibson's healthy, I can say the same for him. What do you think, Imran?
I mean, the more I think about it, I'm not against it. It's just you got to believe what's going to happen, right? We both think the Washington football team is going to be trailing the entire game. I think they'll eventually cover because I think 9 is just too big. But I think that's going to be a lot of checkdowns for McKissick. Gibson is the best player on that offense, right? Either him or Terry. So I think that both can have value.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned to start both of them. I like them a lot, and I love the matchup. They're going to be playing from behind. Both of them should catch passes. I think it's a good situation. All right, let's move on here. We got the next matchup. Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Tennessee, traveling to the Titans. -4.5 on the spread. Kansas City favored as visitors. -198 on the money line. Total in this game is at 57.5 points. 51% of the public has come in on KC to cover the spread, and 72% of the public has come in on the over 57.5 points. What are you thinking about this one?
So I think this one is going to be a high-scoring game, and I think sometimes when you see these matchups, right, you feel like the books are trying to figure out how high-scoring something can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying to almost take some of that value away, and
absolutely.
And they're trying to scare you off. But I think this is a game, right, with the Titans and with the Chiefs, where I think it's going to be high scoring. I just think the defenses are not that good. There's a lot of good players, and we kind of saw a mini version of this matchup on Monday, or no? Like the Bills and the Titans is very similar, right? Two high scoring offenses. I think the Bills have a better defense, but it got up there pretty fast. Yeah, it got up there very fast, and I think we're going to see it again. So I like the over, and I think the Titans are going to cover, and they might win.
I do like the Titans to cover. The Titans are, 4-2 to cover the spread this season, but both teams are 4-2 to the over, and I think that's where we're really getting that tall number. And also, when you look at the total from the Titans and the Bills, like you mentioned, that was what, 65, right?
Last week, yes, it was, because it was 34-31.
Yeah, so 65, I think that's definitely playing a role as well. You would assume, like, okay, well, the Bills have a good defense, but their offense is just as much on par with the Kansas City Chiefs. KC, second in the league in passing yards, 10th in rushing yards. Actually, that's a big surprise for me. Actually, I was not expecting that. They're 10th in the league for rushing yards gained, but they're 27th against in yards allowed on the ground. Tennessee, third in the league. Derrick Henry. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like they're going to try to control the clock. I feel like they're going to try to take the ball or keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands as much as possible.
But
I feel like I still need to buy this 57 down and then take the over. Like, I feel like I still need to get it down to 56 or 55 and then take the over. Just because I feel like they're going to be messing with us here. The books, like you mentioned, like they got it cranked up pretty high. You still could see the Titans come down a little bit. That was a big high to come down from, or a big high they had up against the Bills. Chiefs are hungry. They need a win. I agree with you. Give me the Titans to cover. Give me the Titans to cover. Man, I don't know who to pick for the money line, to be honest with you. It's really tough. I'll take the Titans to win, and I'll take the over 56.
Yeah, so I think the other thing I was going to mention when you were talking about like the Chiefs, the Titans' game plan to beat the Chiefs, right? I think again, I know it's a different team, but I think we kind of saw on Monday how everything can be true, right? Derrick Henry had 150 rushing yards or something like that, an insane number, right? And 3 touchdowns, and they still dropped 31. So I think they can get him going, and he's starting to catch passes too, which he hasn't done in the past. I think he's almost got 20 catches already, which I think is a career high, and we're not even halfway through the season. So I think if he gets involved, I think that can open up your shots for AJ Brown and for Julio. So I think like I said, I'm gonna make my official prediction as well. I'm gonna go with the over. And then I'm going to also take the Titans to cover, and I think they're going to win it outright as well. I think they're starting to hit their stride, and this is not the same Chiefs team we've seen the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm honest. I'm not very comfortable with betting the money line here. I do like the spread of the Titans at plus 4.5 because you're getting the field goal advantage there, right? If they lose by 3, if they just outright win. So I'll take the Titans to cover. I'm not very confident in that money line pick in the Titans. I would probably stay away from it. I don't have it on my card, that's for sure. All right, next up, we've got the Falcons traveling to Miami. Falcons coming in as road favorites, minus 2.5 on the spread, minus 130 on the money line. Over-under is at 47.5 points. 52% of the public is coming in on the Falcons to cover the spread, and 56% of the public is coming in on the under for this game. What are your thoughts here?
I'm going to take the Dolphins to win at home. The line, it's a 1.5 spread, right? So when it gets under 3, I usually don't mess around with it. I just take the money line. There's not much of a value there. And I just think, they're coming into Miami, and I think the Miami just wins at home. And I think when it comes to the spread, I don't think enough points are going to be scored to get to 48. I honestly think I would not be shocked if this game ends 24-23.
Okay. I want to stay away from the spread as well, but I'm going Oppo. I'm going to go the Atlanta Falcons to win here. Matt Ryan has been looking really good the past 3 weeks. Prior to the bye, he had 8 passing touchdowns across 3 weeks with no interceptions. So I like that little bit of upside more so than the Miami Dolphins, who are definitely trending down right now. Defense has looked piss poor, 29th up against the pass, 22nd up against the run right now. Atlanta's sneaky defense, 14th up against the pass, 12th up against the run, and their offense is just middle of the run. Like, they're not running the ball. That's not really an identity for them. They're trying to pass a lot. Volume is there for Matt Ryan. They are 12th in the league for passing yards right now. I'm going Atlanta here. Again, not messing with the spread. Too small, like you mentioned. Both teams, or I'm sorry, not both teams. Atlanta, because they've played 5 games, are 2-3 to cover. and Miami are 2 and 4 to cover. What do we say? Good teams win, great teams cover.
You
Obviously,
cover.
these aren't two great teams, average, below average at best, right? But both teams are trending a little bit more to the over. Atlanta 3-2, Miami 3-3. They're not losing records, so I think there's a little bit more upside for the over. Miami will still put up points at home, but I just don't trust their defense, and to me, that should throttle us to the over or push us to the over even more. Anything to add there?
No.
Calvin Ridley, 7.5 catches. Coming back.
Under. I'm going to go under. Yeah.
He's coming back, so I need it. Give me the over, baby. I need it.
Oh, I need it too, but I think you're going to see him sprinkle it around to Kyle Pitts, who had a good game before the bye, and then some others.
Don't do it, Matt Ryan. Big Ridley week. Big Ridley week. Do that instead. All right, next up, we've got the Jets traveling to New England. The Jets coming in as road dogs, +7 on the spread, +250 on the money line. Over-under is at 42.5 points. Patriots are laying -300 at home. 90% of the public is coming in on the Patriots to cover the 7 points, and 64% of the public is coming in on the under. What are your thoughts, Emron?
I like the under as well. I just think neither offense is going to they're already going to put up points. The Jets really can't get out of their own ways with Zach Wilson and all of his turnovers. So I'll take the Patriots to cover at home, and I'll take the under as well.
Yeah, I like the under. I like the Patriots to cover. Not really getting any value on that money line. Jets haven't done anything for me. Wilson not impressing me. Honestly, the most impressed I've been with the Jets is C.J. Mosley and the Williams brothers, Quincy and Quentin. That's about it. That's all I got. And CJ Mosley's out this week, so it's about not looking great for them. Give me the Patriots there. I mean, there's not really a ton of great things to say about them. The run game has been solid. The defense has been okay. 16th up against the pass, 17th up against the run. The Jets 17th up against the pass and 21st up against the run. So a little bit more upside there. A few more holes in the Jets defense. Give me the Patriots there, and I'm going to take the under. Not a lot of points going to be scored in that one. This is a week where I see the Jets scoring like 7 to 10 points at most.
Yeah,
all right.
I think that's very accurate.
All right, next up, we've got the Lions at the Rams, double revenge game. We got Jared Goff coming home, and we've got Matt Stafford's friends coming over for dinner or afternoon lunch, whatever you look at. So Detroit Lions +16.5 on the spread, +750, or I'm sorry, Detroit Lions +16.5, +750 on the money line. Over unders at 50.5. LA Rams -1200 at home. Ouch, not great value there. 73% of the public is coming in on the Rams to cover that huge spread. 51% is coming in on the under. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the Rams to cover. I just think Stafford's revenge game, I think they're going to light it up. So I think the 17 is not going to be a problem at all. And their Rams defense is still pretty good. The Lions are really bad on offense, right? That offensive line, Penei Sewell, he's kind of struggled as well. And the Lions secondary is not good. It's already ravaged injuries. I mean, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun, I think it's gonna get ugly. I think it's over, and I think don't be surprised if maybe the Rams cover the over by themselves.
They could. I don't know about the 50, but I'm gonna go with the over because I think the Lions can still put up points. And call me nuts, but it's too big. It's too big a spread. I'm going to take the Lions at +16.5, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take Houston Texans at +18 because these spreads are far too large, and they're just trying to trap us. We look at that money line, and we see like, all right, there's obviously no value here. They're pushing us to the spread, and there's no good reasons to take the Lions. That's the whole point. The sports books are just playing some mind games with us here. So give me the Lions to cover the 16.5. Again, too big a number, and give me the over 50.5. I think they're going to have some special stuff dialed up for Jared Goff. I don't think they're going to let him go back into the house, his old house, and just let him look the fool. I don't think that's going to be the case. And I still feel like there's not going to be like a ton of love lost there. Like, yeah, there might be some boos, but I bet the organization does something to, hey, welcome back, Jared Goff, et cetera. Threw for 5,000 yards this 1 year. We drafted him, rookie, blah, blah, blah. There'll be something. There's going to be something for him. And I think he's going to get kind of like mixed reactions. So going back to somewhere where he's played before, he's familiar with his opponents, etc. I'm going to take the cover. I think they're just trying to scare us. Keeping it simple.
I'm just looking at the talent, man. I'll be curious to see how this one plays out.
You're not wrong there. I mean, talent is a 17-point spread for sure, but talent isn't always, everything just doesn't, equate to what's, best on paper, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we got Mr. Michael Chap in the chat asking Myles Gaskin or McKissick. I'm assuming it's PPR. I am going McKissick.
Same.
Myles Gaskin has burned me too many times this season. That 27-point game is a fade in my memory. All right, next up, we've got the Eagles at the Raiders. Eagles, road dogs, traveling to Las Vegas, +3 on the spread, +125 on the money line. Over-under in this game is at 48.5 points. The Raiders are laying -145 at home. 52% of the public is coming in on the Raiders to cover the spread, and 71% of the public is coming in on this game to go to the over. I love the over here, actually. I think the total might be a little bit too low. I feel like this should be at like 50, maybe 51. So I love the over there, and I like the Raiders to cover and win. I don't like the Eagles on the road.
I agree. I'm going to go with the Raiders to win at home. If it was +3 or higher, maybe I take the Eagles. 2.5, I don't like it at all. And I think the Raiders will win by at least that. And then I'll take the over as well. And I think the team overall looks like they had a pretty good game against the Broncos last week. After the whole Gruden mess. So maybe they're okay.
I think they're better than okay without Gruden. I think that was definitely something that was, played a role in the locker room, had an effect on the players. We definitely saw it that week where he was still coaching them, but the information had came out. They looked like they were dead on the field. And look what they did last week. They threw one in the face of the Broncos, who, they almost beat the Browns. I know the Browns were beaten battered, but they were down for most of that game, and they almost came back. So Broncos still a team to be reckoned with. Raiders threw it in their face. I like it. Give me the Raiders here. I know that Waller is banged up, may not be suiting up in this one, but I still like them. They're passing for a ton of yards, third in the league for passing yards right now, the Raiders. So still a lot of upside there. Derek Carr still doing his thing, and I just don't love the Eagles on the road. They're still a mistake-oriented offense. Jalen Hurts. So. I like Jalen Hurts for an anytime touchdown. I almost put him in that parlay earlier because the Raiders have a good amount of upside up against the pass, but they are bleeding yards on the ground. 25th in the league for yards allowed on the ground, and what I mentioned, third for the passing yards. That was like their high mark. Their what they've been really good at so far. Philly 5th up against the pass, but again, they're going on the road. They're beaten, hobbled. I'm going with the Raiders here.
Mm-hmm.
We got Bars in the Tuck in the chat saying good morning and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, sir. Full PPR, pick one tight end, RSJ, Ricky Seals-Jones, or Ertz. I am going Ertz still here. I see that your opponent is starting Heineke. I kind of get that. Seals-Jones could, you get to leverage that. Heineke doesn't get as many points, but I still see Heineke, maybe puts one on the ground, maybe throws an interception. I don't think you need to be worried about that. Go with the upside with Ertz in a juicy matchup up against the Texans. He's more likely to hit 2 touchdowns than Ricky Seal is to hit 1, I think.
I'm going to go with Ricky Seals-Jones. Ertz's first game. It's a great matchup. It's a fantastic matchup, but I think he's going to need a little bit of time to settle in. I don't know what his snap count's going to be like. And with Ricky Seals-Jones, no Logan Thomas, no Curtis Samuel, they're going to be trailing. I think the opportunities are going to be there.
All right, fair enough. Zach Ertz, that's all they have. They lost Max Williams to injury for the season, so there's very limited availability at the tight end position for the Redbirds right now.
Yep.
All right, so next up we got the Bears. Old Chicago. It says Bears at Rams. That is incorrect. So ignore that part. I don't know what I was looking at there. We got Bears traveling to Tampa Bay, coming in as road dogs, +11.5 on the spread, +475 on the money line. Over under is at 47 points. Buccaneers, laying -650 at home. The public, 52% of the public is coming in on Tampa to cover. 64% of the public is coming in on the over. What do you think here?
I'm going to go with the under. The Bears have hit 4 straight unders since the season started. This is tough. I think the Bucs are going to win this game. I think I have no faith in the Bears offense. I'll say the Bears cover. It is a double-digit spread. And, without Antonio Brown and Gronk, I think maybe they keep it close. The Bears might even have a lead at some point in this game, but I think it's going to be very similar to the Packers game where the offense is just not going to get right. I would love to see them, it's a similar matchup to last week. It's a depleted secondary. You should have some opportunities. I don't know if they're going to take advantage of it. So I think the Bears can cover. 11.5 is a lot. And they're not totally garbage. This defense is still pretty solid. So I'll take Bears plus 11.5, and I'll take the under just because it's, I think, actually 5 in a row now for the Bears. Unders have cashed.
So there's definitely money coming in on the Bears to cover because this number was at about 12.5 a day ago.
14.5 earlier in the week.
Wow. So a
Yeah,
lot
on
of money
Tuesday,
coming in on the Bears to
yeah.
cover. A lot of money
Yeah.
coming in on the Bears to cover. I think I'm going to go with that. You know, we saw that situation. You and I were talking about it earlier pre-show. You know, Tom took a knee, you know, to kill the over up against the Eagles in prime time, and we've seen stuff like that before where they may be up, but they don't need to score. I'm going to take the Bears to cover. Again, it's a really big spread for them. A team that's played really good defense. 8th in the league up against the pass, 16th up against the run. Tampa first up against the run, and that's why I really think they're going to try to load the box today, really try to take away those running backs. But, man, just pass to Damien Williams, pass to Khalil Herbert. You have to pass to the running back position to attack that rushing defense, excuse me. Did you say Ryan Nall?
I said Cole Kmet.
Oh, Cole Kmet. Yeah, I wish, except for he's not a running back, unless they want to put him in some wishbone.
No, I was going to say dump it down
like
to like those short passes, extension of the running game, your Herberts. Like, I mean, that's what they got to do. They got to get that on first down. They got to avoid second and third and long, but, you know, we'll see.
I just need more creative play calling, man. Like,
I'd love to see.
We've had Fields there for a long time. You got to utilize his running abilities. Like, they're talking about trying to bring in Greg Roman to head coach this team next year, man. Like, no. I know we're the 32nd in the pass. I know that, but we don't need to be the Ravens, okay? Like, let's just develop the passing game. My God.
The one thing I would love to see this week, and I wish I saw it more last week, I would love to see more designed runs. So what I mean by that is more read option where he keeps it. Because I watch the game with Cam every week and my dad, and they do these read options where he never keeps it and runs. And I'm like, God, just one time with his speed, if he kept it and ran and turned the corner, he could be. People don't realize, I think, how fast he is. Like, he's got, like, it's not like Mitch had good speed, but I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, but Fields can go. Fields can go if he turns that corner. So I'd love to see those type of runs where, you know, that kind of, you know, puts the Bucs on the back of their heels. Like, okay, wait, he's running now. Like, we can't really just sit back and whether they're pressuring him more, I think it'll open stuff up. And that's what's been annoying me because, like you said, it's been 5 weeks now. Like, it's not like a second start. Like, it's been over a month. Like, you got to have better play calling.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a fair amount of speed still. I would compare it still to Kyler Murray's speed, except for Kyler Murray is more agile of a runner, right? Like he's great moving, you know, east and west. Like Justin Fields should be a very solid north and south runner, like running downhill. You just need to get him an alley. That's it. Yeah, and that's what they need more design runs on is the outside zones, you know, off of a read option or something like that, right? I would compare his speed more so to like Mahomes or like Russell Wilson, even Kyler Murray. Like I said, he just doesn't have that same lateral movement. But yeah, I mean, the opportunities are there for him. We still need to develop the passing game. Like I said, 32nd in the league. A lot of opportunity this week. You got a Tampa Bay defense that's 27th in the league up against the pass. So I'd like to see them get a little bit creative, maybe try to open up options for A-Rob downfield. I don't know. We'll see what we get. Let's get back to the chat here. We got Bars in the Tuck asking again, full point PPR. We already went over that one, and we already went over that one. Start two. Nick Hobby in the chat. Woods, Metcalf, Higgins, Mitchell. That's tough. Woods for sure. Woods is a lock there. Metcalf is tough for me with Geno. He's also going to have probably Marshawn Lattimore on him. Really tough to start Metcalf. He's a top 10 wide receiver every week, at least as far as like people's rankings go. Elijah Mitchell doesn't have the greatest matchup up against the Colts, but I feel like he's the second guy here just based on touches and volume. I think I go Woods and Mitchell. What do you think, Cameron?
Woods and Metcalf for me. I think DK is going to have an opportunity for a touchdown in this matchup. Higgins, I like him, but the Ravens, it's just kind of tough to say. And Elijah Mitchell, I just don't like that Niners backfield. Just too many people. He could have 150 yards or he could have 15. Because if somebody gets past
it's just him and Trey Sermon, and they haven't really favored Sermon at all. I know because he's on my bench everywhere. Or actually, he's on my taxi squad because he's not getting any playing time.
Yeah, I'm just not trusting him at all. I just can't trust the Niners backs. Yeah.
No, I understand. Hey, I mean, for all I know, Sermon will be on my bench, blowing up my spot. Who knows?
Yeah, very likely.
All right, cool. So next up here, we have Houston and Arizona. Arizona hosting SMU. I mean, Houston Texans. Sorry, my bad. Texans coming in as plus 18 dogs. Fucking Rottweiler. Plus 900 on the money line. Over under at 47 points. The Cardinals are laying minus 1,700 at home. Floyd Mayweather definitely emptying the bag for that minus 1,700. So the public, 60% of the public is coming in on the Cardinals to cover the spread. 66% of the public is on the over. That's interesting. Where are you at with this one?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals and the over on this one. I just think Arizona is going to light it up with the Texans. There's going to be some motivation. I know DeAndre Hopkins hated the way he was dealt from the Texans. So I anticipate him having a pretty big game today, and J.J. Watt as well. Not to go completely hypocritical on what I said, but for fun, I did make a $5 parlay today, which picked the Lions, the Texans, and the Bears, the three biggest underdogs to win outright. It was $5 to pay $3,000.
$5.
Stranger things have happened, man. I would love to be
true.
like watching the Sunday night halftime show, like, oh, the three biggest underdogs all won today.
I wonder what it would be if you just did them to cover. I mean, it's not going to be as much, but
no, that would, if it was $5 to cover that spread, that's because it's all minus 110. The value comes in because it's like plus 700, plus 790, plus 480. I mean, it's $5. I don't care, but I mean, like I was telling you last week, in the early games, every favorite covered. So who knows?
If you had to pick just one, for the folks at home that maybe they want to keep it a little bit less risky, who would you say is most likely to win outright? The Texans, the Lions. What was the other one?
The Bears.
Well, probably the Bears.
I think I would pick the Bears, not because of bias, because I can see the formula for them beating the Bucs. They'd have to get lucky. They'd have to get some turnovers, and ideally one that's either a defensive touchdown or that puts them inside like the 20. And like I said, they every game this year, when they lost to the Rams and they lost to the Browns, right? They lost by 20 in each game. They got blown out, but both of those games going into the fourth quarter were 7-point games. So they keep it close. The problem is the offense doesn't do their part. So, and I see this game being the same way. It's going to be a one-possession game going into the fourth, and the Bucs might pull away. But if I had to pick, I feel great about it? Absolutely not. But I think the Lions, I can't see a way the Lions outscore the Rams. I can't talk my way into that. And same thing with the Texans. I just don't see that unless it's one of those weird games like the Bears and Cardinals from 2006 where, the offense has like 8 turnovers in a game. Like that's the only way I could see it. Like I don't see a way where like this player can wield a team. I just don't see it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to even think who could even resemble Devin Hester for the Houston Texans. And there ain't nobody.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody. Hester ain't walking through that door. I think Chicago deserves to get some favorable calls.
Fuck the refs, man. For that bullshit last week. How do you – Aaron Rodgers pulls Edwards' face mask. Edwards gets the penalty, and then the NFL doubles down and gives him a $10,000 fine. Gotta love it.
They love their zebras. They love their stripes.
Gotta love it.
All right, next up we got the Colts traveling to San Francisco. Road dogs, +4 on the spread, +167 on the money line. The total in this game is at 43 points. The public, 75% of the public is having Indianapolis cover the game, 79% on the over. What do you think about this one, sir?
I think it's going to be a close game. I like the Colts to cover, and I like the under in this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think the Niners will win by a field goal late. But yeah, two decent defenses going at it, so I think the offenses are going to be limited. Neither offense really has threats that are going to put up a lot of points. I know Debo's had a couple of big games, but not really consistent, right? Not consistently putting up a lot of points. So I'll go with the under and the Colts to cover, but the Niners will win outright.
Well, Debo's been very consistent. He's been awesome in fantasy. He's a must start every week right now. I'm going to take the Niners to cover, the Niners to win. I'm not really confident on the total. I kind of want to stay away from it, but I think it's going to be to the under. I mentioned on Thursday, Carson Wentz is my hate play of the week. He's a guy I would fade in all formats. He's coming off of strong performances, but he's going on the road. He's going out west, going to be a little bit different. And San Francisco has allowed the second fewest completions to the quarterback position and the second fewest amount of passing yards to the quarterback position. So I'm going to fade him there. I like the matchup for the 49ers. Keep it slow, keep it simple. I guess that narrative would trend to the under, trying to keep away from the Colts. Colts are beat up. They lost Paris Campbell. They lost T.Y. Hilton. I think that does prompt up some more upside for Michael Pittman. If I gave you a 6.5 catch prop, would you take the over?
For Pittman, I take the under.
Take the under? Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know who's moving the chains for these guys in this week. Is it Jonathan Taylor or is it a Nyheim Hines week? Is he finally going to come out of his shell? What do you think?
That's what I think would happen. I think it'd be a lot of Jonathan Taylor running the ball, running that offense through him. He's been on a tear lately. Nyheim Hines, I could see him maybe a little bit more Ali Cox, but yeah, I just don't see them 6.5, like him getting 7 catches. I mean, that they would really have to target him and go out of their way to target him. And I just don't trust them to do that.
Yeah, well, I don't trust Wentz, so that's where I'm sticking to the 49ers here. So I'll take them to cover, win, and I guess I'll just take the under. I'm betting against the Colts. I'm betting against Wentz, so I'll take the under there. Just trying to keep the narrative on brand. All right, last one up here. We're gonna head out and get to our Sunday. God, I hate to wait till 1 o'clock. I really do. All right, next up, New Orleans Saints, road favorites traveling to Seattle, -4.5 on the spread, -215 on the money line. Over under is at 42.5 points. 52% of the public is coming in on the Seahawks to cover at home. 70% of the public is coming in on the over here. What do you think?
It's a tricky game. It's a primetime game. It's a primetime game. Seattle's at home. They're 4.5 underdogs against a Saints team that I don't think is that much better with them than them, even with Russell Wilson being out. I'm going to take Seattle to cover. I like the under of this game because I just think it's going to be a weird game with some turnovers. Geno Smith versus Jameis Winston, the matchup the world wants to see, right? So I think the Seattle Seahawks will cover. I think they might win, and I'll take the under. I'll go with the home team in an ugly 21-17 game.
I am going to go. Man, I want to stay away from the spread, to be honest with you. I don't love it. I'm going to take just the Saints money line. -215 isn't the greatest value, but put that into something. Put it.
Could be worse, yeah.
You know what? Honestly, just put in this game. I don't like doing this. I advise against everybody to not take spreads and totals, but I'm going to take the money line in the total. I like the money line at -215, and I like the over 42.5. The Seattle defense is just still really bad. I actually do feel like they're going to put up points because they are at home. They are in prime time, and there are a couple of matchups that they can leverage. I know Chris Carson's going to be out, but Alex Collins looked pretty good. This team really didn't look that bad up against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They look pretty good. So I think they can put up enough points for us to go to the over, but I think this is this will be Alvin Kamara's biggest game of the year. I'm talking 2-3 touchdown game. The Seattle defense, bleeding yards, 28th up against the pass, 30th up against the run.
Yeah,
they've been using Kamara more on the ground than in the passing game. But if there's a week for him to get 5, 6, 7 catches, this is it. Multi touchdown game. So with that, I'm going to go with the over, and I'm going to go with the Saints. I think that Sean Payton in this offense is really still trying to figure things out. They're going to have Michael Thomas coming back soon. So I think that this is the big week that Alvin Kamara is going to blow up their spot, and they're going to win big in prime time. Lord,
it'll be fun to see. Yeah.
Give me 4.5 catches for Tyler Lockett, over under. What do you think?
I'll go with the over. For him, one of the reasons he was my sixth, I think he'll get some checkdowns. Like I could easily see him with 6 catches for 60 yards. Like Geno just dumping it down and getting some first downs. I just don't think he's going to have those deep balls that he gets with Russ, right? I feel like every now and then you're watching him, you see a 50, 60-yard bomb, but I'll take the over 1.5 easy on that. I think Geno's going to look for a security blanket, and especially on third downs, I think that's just going to be his go-to guy.
Yep. I love it. I agree with you. I'll take the over on Lockett there as well.
I trust Lockett a little bit more than I trust Metcalf.
That's tough, man. I don't know. I feel like he's getting Marshawn Lattimore right behind Jalen Johnson for lowest completion rating allowed is Marshawn Lattimore, right? So they're 1 and 2 in the league. So it's tough. Thursday night I was talking to you and Cam about this. Actually, I had taken the under for Cortland Sutton in a matchup where I thought against Ward, on defense for the Browns, he's just gonna have a really long day. He's so I could see something like that, similar to where Sutton had a long play. He had 1 for 31. Not the worst first half, but the second half he really came alive. So I could see something like that where you just have kind of a mixed results, like first half, second half, or something like that. So what I'm really excited for is Thursday night football. Next,
I was literally going to say the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna be on that one?
Yeah. So what do you mean on that one?
Thursday. You good for Thursday?
No, I'm going to be in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I fly out Thursday. Yeah, I would. Otherwise, I would. But yeah, the matchup. I was on BetOnline as we were going through the game logs, and I was looking at the game. I was looking at next week. I was like, holy shit, Packers and Cardinals. The over's at 53. Yeah, give me that's a good test for both teams. Cardinals have played some good teams, right? They beat the Rams, they beat the Niners, they beat the Browns. It's not like their schedule's been cupcake, but this is a matchup. This is let's go.
No, I agree. It's going to be a fun game. I'm looking excited to call on that one. We got
You think Green Bay overlooks Washington and looking into Thursday because they got to travel to Arizona?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think they'll be fine. I'll probably take them to cover the +3, to be honest.
Yeah.
They don't even have money line odds out yet. We got Josh Dyer in the chat asking A-Rob versus Devontae Freeman versus Alex Collins. Pick 2, half-point PPR. Not Devontae Freeman. I go Alex Collins and A-Rob, yeah. Keeping it simple.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, this is a great matchup for A-Rob on paper, right? They're down to their third string corner. I mean, he should eat. I mean, that's he should. And then Collins, yeah, Freeman. It's not 2015 anymore. I like Collins.
Yeah, give me Collins for sure. I just saw Joe Burrow walk into the building,
rocking
like a lime green suit. Like, call it. Game's over, man.
God, I love Joe Burrow. I know I say this every week, but I fucking love Joe Burrow.
The drip's too hard for JB.
Yeah. Fucking their kicker, man. They should be 5-1 if he makes one of those damn field goals. How crazy would that have been?
Speaking of 5-0, Lamar Jackson is 5-0 up against the Bengals. I think he might be in line for his first loss against that franchise.
It's going to be a matchup, man. I'm excited for this one. I think this is going to be a good. That's the one advantage of the Bears not playing at 1, or either playing later in the day or being off. Is like you get to see these other games. And there's some good matchups, man. The Titans, Chiefs, this Bengals Ravens game. I think is going to be good too.
Oh, that one's going to be kicking off Sunday with some fireworks. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
get some scoring, but I'm still taking the under though. So I still think we squeak out to the under 46, but we'll see what we get. Give me 24-21 Bengals. Let's go. Good teams win, great teams cover. Go Bengals. Let's go. We were about to head out. Oh, okay. You're just saying thank you. Yeah, no problem, Josh. We appreciate it, sir. Drop in. We'll be back tomorrow night, Thursday. We got hockey on Wednesday. We got basketball on Friday. We're kicking it off here. Sports are back. Hizzy's got it all, man. We're cooking. Sorry, I'm just looking at Jamar Chase highlights over here, getting me excited. All right, we're gonna head out. Hope everyone enjoys their Sunday. Please be sure to smash the like button on the way out. Follow us on YouTube.com. Emron, you got anything, brother?
No, man. Go Bears. Let's get this upset.
I was about to say let's get this dub, but let's just try and cover, guys. Let's keep it simple. All right, take care. Be well. Be good, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.